All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. Glad you're hanging out with us this evening. It's Overrated, Underrated, Rated Right Thursday. We're talking the best all-time pro sports coaches, managers, whatever, in the state of Texas. Lone Star State, overrated, underrated, rated right, pro coaches. We got that going on tonight. We got NIL, Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State earlier this week. He didn't say the quiet part out loud. He said the loud part out loud. Hey, if we want to keep guys around, we got to pay them more. So what does that mean? What does that mean to you as a fan? Do you hate that? Whatever. Anything else that's on your mind? Tech and TCU has been very quiet this week on the Tech TCU front. The cacti thing, the battle for the saddle. It's just two teams that are really needing to win, and most of them are keeping their mouths shut, including, I think, most of the fans. So all of that tonight on the broadcast, whatever else is on your mind, we want to hear from you. And let's get it rolling in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan at TheRaiderland.com. Started the day there earlier today on the website. You were digging on the Raiderland hot links. Cool stuff from around the web. We churn it out every day for you. I think you like it. I know you like it. And we appreciate it. You get your comments in on the website, TheRaiderland.com, on the question of the day. Now, we are in the Arctic Air Studios today. Maybe today is the last day where we really need the Arctic air, maybe in West Texas. I got in my truck, the truck dash 101 this afternoon. 101. Now, I think the high was around 90 or whatever, but you know how the dashboard thing works. It's fall, right? Well, winter's coming in. It's going to show up, and you're going to need to call the bear. Callthebear.com. I don't want you sitting there some night in late November, early December, and the heating unit goes out, and you've been babying it through the summer. You know it wasn't going to make. Call the bear. Arctic Air. Call them today. Call Shane. Tell him, hey, Hyatt sent you this way. Brought to you also by Charles Middleton and Son, the best in farm and ranch realty in the world, really, certainly in this part of the world. We only work with the best. That's why they're out there. If you're selling some farm and ranch land around West Texas, you call them first. If you're buying something, you want to go on their website, check it out, go on their Facebook page. They got cool, awesome videos, all that good stuff. Middleton and Son, the best in the business. It's not even close. That's why they're with us. And if you're heading up to Red River, maybe in a week, and you're going to be out there over Election Day weekend and everything else and want to go fishing, hi there, Jeff Fagan. Fagan's Guided Fly Fishing. He's the guy to call. United Supermarkets, Market Street takes care of all of the transmissions, the text, the communications, and everything else you see tonight, whether you are on YouTube, whether you are on Facebook Live, whether you are on Twitter. They got it. You know, I was just thinking about this earlier today as I was at Market Street. There's one supermarket that, spends their money with Texas Tech. There's another one in town that spends their money with another school down south. Just thinking out loud on this. All right, let's get it going. Get your comments, questions in, everything else. Mike Gundy on NIL and player retention. I don't know if you saw the comments. We'll give it to you. The underrated right deal tonight. Pro sports coaches all-time Texas, Lone Star State, baseball, NFL, you name it. The ones that you consider overrated, underrated, and rated right. I said Bum Phillips, rated right. 100% rated right. He couldn't get past the Steelers and the Raiders, but we love him still. Underrated, Ken Hitchcock, Dallas Stars, Raise the Banner, Pantera, Fight Song, awesome. And my overrated guy is Ron Washington with the Rangers, which some of you might put on the underrated side. I thought the Rangers won in spite of Ron Washington. Well documented in the old Williams and Hyatt show back in the, not early 90s, at all. The early 2010s, what do we call that? They won in spite of Ron Washington. I think he's overrated 100%. So give me the pro coaches that you think are overrated, underrated, rated right. Craig jumps in. They're on Facebook. The talking box is on. Darn right it is. Glad to have you guys with us. Also, get in on tech football, whatever you want to do tonight. It's very quiet. You guys are being very, very, very quiet. And I appreciate that from a tech standpoint that you ought to be quiet right now. Craig says Tom Landry rated right. Forgive me, Dallas Cowboy fans. I almost put him in the overrated category. Almost. I thought about it last night, this morning, that he coaches the Cowboys to 5 Super Bowls. They win 2. He can't get past Lombardi in the 1960s. But my gosh, he was an offensive tactician, defensive tactician, great football mind. Cowboys won for decades under him. I can't put him in the overrated category. I cannot do it. But he's this close, because he went from being like, whatever, to venerated. But World War II hero, badass Texan, ain't no way I'm going to put him in the overrated. Rated right, I think, for Tom Landry. CJ has jumped in and goes Barry S. overrated. Are we talking about Barry Switzer? Or Barry Sotero? Totally different. If we're talking about Switzer, the biggest thing I can tell you about Barry Switzer from a pro, we're talking about pro coaches only, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, Stars, Dallas, Stars. Ken Hitchcock, by the way, totally underrated. And it's amazing because he's in the Hall of Fame and everything else. Nobody talks about him here. NBA, you guys get the idea. Pro sports in Texas. If we're talking about Barry Switzer wins a Super Bowl as an NFL coach. What does that tell us about the NFL? And does it demean what Jimmy Johnson did, another college coach coming in off the trade from the Minnesota Vikings and Herschel Walker? So Barry Switzer, I mean, if he doesn't go just full stupid his first year, you might, if he didn't get the penalty there at San Francisco, might have gone to 2 Super Bowls and won them. There's no doubt that if they go to the Super Bowl that the Niners win with, I just blanked out. Oh, gosh. Quarterback after Joe Montana. What the hell are we doing here? Anyhow, Cowboys win that one. David on Facebook, Barry won with JJ's players. Yeah, he did. Sure. Thank you, Steve Young. Thank you. Couldn't get my mind there. If the Cowboys win that game, they win the Super Bowl against the Chargers. Natron means business, baby. So overrated, underrated, rated right. Pro coaches, state of Texas. We can go Major League Baseball. We can go NHL, NBA. Rudy Tomjanovich with the Houston Rockets. Overrated, underrated? Anybody remember, when they were winning a couple of championships back in the day with Gene Peterson on the call? Hakeem Olajuwon, the Dream. Nobody talks about that. Much better than anything the Mavericks have done with Mark Cuban. That's for sure. Then we get into the whole Spurs deal, and I don't know. I don't even want to talk about the dude. Dead to me. Dead to me. Spurs. Dead to me. Jerry Granville, underrated Oilers head coach. Okay. not Granville, Glanville. Glanville. You say Glanville. I'm like Ron Burgundy. You type it, I'll read it that way. Yeah, Jerry Glanville. I'll give you a little bit of underrated on that. The Oilers were so tantalizingly close for so many years with Bum Phillips, who I put on the rated right deal. Bum Phillips, couldn't get past Steelers, Raiders, 70s. Then he has to go to purgatory with the Saints. By the way, here's your random West Texas, Texas Tech Bum Phillips note, other than the fact he was a coach at Amarillo High in the 60s. So in about 83 or so, when he goes to the Saints, he wants to move their training camp to Lubbock, Texas. While Bum Phillips was the head coach of the Houston Oilers, they trained in San Angelo at Angelo State for years. And he goes to New Orleans and he wants to come out to Tech and he wants to do training camp at Tech. And Tech's like, oh, we can't do that. We got dorms, we got practice facilities, and this is 83. This is Jerry Moore era. Who was that? Dick Tamburo, the AD at the time? I can't even remember who the AD was. And Texas Tech just said, no, can't do it. No way we can make it work. Now, Angelo State could make it work, but Texas Tech couldn't make it work. And Bum Phillips was like, you guys are stupid. I mean, how cool would that have been? And what a great recruiting deal at the time. Not that it would have mattered with Jerry Moore at the time. But to have the New Orleans Saints doing training camp in Lubbock in July and early August. Oh, we can't make it work. Yeah. Okay. That at the time, okay, you know how the deal now at Texas Tech, from here it's possible. For years at Texas Tech, the motto should have been, yeah, we can't do it. Yeah, we can't figure out how to make that happen. Not going to work. The Gundy quote, talking about player retention, said, yeah, it's all about money now. That I got a player that we're giving $12,000 to, and maybe we go 3-9 or whatever, anything else. I got to pay him $250,000. He was being hyperbole to get him to come back, and he was bemoaning that the idea of player retention now is all about money. Yeah, it's how you get them here now. It's how you keep them here now. I think some Tech fans would be shocked what some Tech players are making. Taj Brooks, depending on where he gets drafted. And I don't know that the NFL is changing their mind on Brooks right now. Maybe, I hope they are. But let's say he got drafted last year, or even didn't get drafted, went to the NFL. What he's making in NIL this year, got a gnat, trying to kill a gnat. Need some chopsticks. Kill a gnat with the chopsticks. He'd take a pay cut. So the idea that, yeah, that's how you retain players now is pretty much the deal. So what do you want to do about it is the question. One, for you fans out there watching the show, does it make you hate college football? Do you not care about it anymore? Don't care? I don't think you do. Not care. I don't think you don't care. I think you do because I've seen the ratings. I've seen everything else. I've seen the passion. So we go past the we don't care point to what do you want to do about it? You got two ways to go. If you don't want NIL or anything to have any transfer portal, anything else, then college football at your university becomes non-scholarship. 100% non-scholarship. Whoever shows up plays, and you play against teams that do that. And that's the end of the story. Or you allow them to unionize, you create a collectively bargained agreement just like the NFL, and then you can control the transfer portal. That ends. The whole holding out for money, all that stuff, that's gone. That's it. Those are the two ways to go. So what do you want to do with it? Where do you want to go on that? You tell me. Texas Tech and TCU this weekend. I was gonna do a topic tonight, and we'll probably do it tomorrow with the prediction. You can fix one thing one thing this weekend for Tech football, what would it be? You can fix the offense if you think it needs fixing. The defense, and you can't fix the defense from a health standpoint. The defense is hampered by who they are playing with because of injuries. The special teams performance the other day was a one-off, but I give you one thing that could be great Saturday against TCU. What would you choose on that? I mean, I'm throwing it out right now, so it doesn't really matter if we do it tomorrow or not. You know, and we're going to go as long tonight as we want to, as we can, and everything else. Up to you. All the communication, you can do it tonight on YouTube, thanks to Market Street United Supermarkets, on Twitter X. Want to hear my Twitter people? Where are my Twitter people? Got a lot of people on Twitter. Got a lot of people on YouTube. Want to hear from you? Jump in, thanks to Market Street. The players are running the programs. Coaches can't do much to leverage anymore. They are and they aren't. I mean, they still got to play. I can pull you off the field. Might lose my job. I understand what you're saying, that the players are, quote, running the program. But is it really the players or is it the collective? Is it the boosters that now have even more power because they got the money to pay the guys legally? It's legal this time. Great line from the movie Tombstone. Legal. So what do you want to do? How do you fix it? What do you want to do there? Jump in. Where are my Twitter people? I'm really kind of worried about my Twitter people. CJ, just win the game this weekend. Okay, that's fine. How do you want to win the game this weekend? Not how do you want to win the game, but what do you think you have to do if I give you one of the three sides of the ball that you got to do? What do you got to do? I think the special teams was a blip. I'm going to give Kenny Perry and the special teams just a one-time pass and say, yeah, you guys had a groupthink horrible day. For the most part, they've been pretty good. I don't think the defense can get any better than what they are. The defense is who it is. And then we look at statistically the Tech offense and say, oh my gosh, they're up here in the stats on this and that. No, they've got to do more complementary football. They've got to be better than what you saw the first quarter and a half when the game mattered. So if you give me any one thing, give me the offense. All right? Give me the offense this weekend being better than they were against Baylor. And I think you can win because I do think that the special teams were a one-off deal until proven otherwise. Defense, you can't get any better. Sorry, that's it. That's who you are. Why? You got a ton of injuries. I mean, you don't have any linebackers outside of linebackers. Most important position on defense right now, in my opinion, are outside of linebackers and edge guys in college football. You don't have any. David, just waiting for boosters to flex and refuse to pay this list of players next year, and some players to say, I got this much or I walk, and rosters get flipped every year. It's happening. And we saw our man Mike Gundy talk about it, and I have written down right here, you got to re-recruit your roster. But you know what you can do now? You can fire players. You can get rid of them. I'm paying you $20,000, $40,000, and you play like crap. Guess what? $5,000 or you walk. I can run off guys so much easier now in college football and basketball than ever before. It's beautiful. If you're a coach, if you embrace it, if you embrace the idea, don't be like, the candy ass up there in Virginia. Just embrace it and say, all right, if we want to play this game, we're going to play it. That you have no upside as a player because you don't have a collectively bargain agreement, you don't have a long-term contract, I can trapdoor your ass right now and go find somebody who looks exactly like you for $5,000. I'll take your 20,000 you were making this year. You were averaging 2.7 yards a carry, gone. Now, are you guys comfortable with that? You guys good with that as fans? You know, I am. If we want to play this game until we get a collectively bargained agreement and college players are unionized, I'll play that game. If you want stupid NFL money as a junior or a sophomore college football player, I'll trapdoor you. You got nothing. You don't have a union barking up the tree for you to do anything for you. So let's get it done, shall we? Let's dance. Any thoughts on Indiana, Wisconsin? I don't even know what we're talking about there. My legacy is stamped there. I'll take your word for it. I have no idea what we're talking about. Huge farm, but never. And got no idea what we're talking about. Anybody help me out here? Somebody help me out with that. Girth Brooks. That's awkward. Gundy is washed. Gundy hates NIL. He hates the transfer portal. He hates everything about college football. But he loves every time he cashes a check. And he goes by the ATM on the way home to his lake house. And he goes, damn, doing pretty good. You have to play hardball or go home. Home. C HOM. You add that extra O and it gets weird. Wendy, that's why Tadlock needs to get with the program. He needs to go in the transfer portal. He has. He has gone into the transfer portal. He has done that over the last several years. Some of the better players have been out there. There are those who would debate the willingness of Tadlock to just fully go on and buy out players. We'll see. But about 4 of your starters last year were out of the transfer portal. Jan, yeah, benching a guy doesn't hurt anything but his ego. Hit his pocketbook, you'll get his attention, or you'll get rid of the guy. You know, typos happen. The Big Ten has taken football over. The Big Ten has done nothing. The Big Ten rides on the coattails of the SEC. The Big Ten is moderately irrelevant from anything that really decides what's going on in college football. They really are. They're just moderately irrelevant. Autocorrect. Yes, autocorrect. Big Ten's cute. Big Ten's cute. Gareth Brooks wants to know, didn't Michigan just win? Yeah, they just win. They just won. That's fine. But they don't drive anything. They suckle at the teat of the SEC. They ride along with it, and they, they will have good teams, and they're going to have competitive teams. But no, I didn't say they're irrelevant. I said they suckle at the teat of the SEC. Meanwhile, Bobby Valentine was overrated for the Rangers. How could he be overrated? Manager of the Rangers, late 80s, early 90s. Cast off in the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. I think he would be just rated right. I mean, they weren't bad. Well, they were bad a couple of years. They were okay a couple of years. The worst thing that Bobby Valentine did is he put them in Dodgers uniforms. Gray and blue on the road. And one time I got not thrown out. To be thrown out of a place, you have to technically be in. So when I was 20, we're there in Arlington off of Post and Paddock, where Bobby V's was. If anybody is a Metroplex kid, otherwise you might know what I'm talking about. So Bobby V's, and I'm out there with my cousin's husband or near to be husband. I'm 20 years old. We're going in, and all of a sudden I'm about halfway in, and they say, "Hold on, you ain't 21." Well, no, close. You got to go. Son of a bitch. After 9 o'clock on whatever night, she had to be 21 to go into Bobby V's. You know, Damon, the Big Ten is moderately irritating. Moderately. Ain't got nothing against them. It's just they don't drive anything. They totally suckle at the teat of the SEC, and that's who they are. And they're smart to do that. Their product is boring as hell, just absolutely boring. I mean, this whole Nats situation, really, can we not get a freeze here in West Texas? Here in the Arctic Air Studios, Nats, Nats, Nats. Yeah. I got nothing against the Big Ten, but they're not that much better than the current Big 12 right now. Oh, but they had the national champion last year. Yes, they did. Yeah, it's all right. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, global warming on the Nats. Where we're sent. Got about 4 minutes left. The overrated, underrated, rated right. I really thought I'd draw out some hockey fans on the Ken Hitchcock underrated. Come on, give me a little credit for that. Because Ken Hitchcock, even though he's a Hall of Fame coach, nobody ever talks about him as far as great coaches here in the Lone Star State. Wins the Stanley Cup in '99, and I was there in the fall of '99, 2000 when they raised the freaking banner. I was there at Reunion Arena the night they raised it. It was beautiful. Beautiful, let me tell you. You know? But Hitch, man, he made people in Texas love a sport that nobody knew a damn thing about. Totally underrated. Great head coaches, professional coaches all time in the Lone Star State. Um, almost went underrated with Larry Durker with the Astros. If we got any Astros fans out there, both of you cheating Astros, thought about going with Larry Durker on that. I could have gone farther back on some Astros stuff, but nobody really paid attention to the Astros until the late '90s, so it didn't matter. Damon, the Nats are highly irritating. You have no idea. What was that? Well, odd noises in the background. Yeah, hold on. The Nats. Okay, just making sure you spelled that right. Where we're set. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, the hounds are being released. Girth, the Big Ten generates the most revenue, and that's what the NCAA cares about. Yeah, that's part of what it is. I can separate revenue, relevancy, football, how good they are, everything else. Now, the SEC still matters so much more than the Big Ten. It's the SEC, and then there's this big gap, and there's the Big Ten right here. The Big Ten likes to think they're like up here. No, you're way down here. Then after that, the Big Ten, and then it's everything else right now. This is the way it goes. Overrated Ted Williams, Texas Ranger. How can he be overrated? He was there for like a year. They suck. The most awkward pictures of him wearing cowboy boots and a, Stetson hat. Oh, jeez. Bless his heart. Great American. Should not have had to be the Rangers manager in 1972. God bless him. Awful. Ron Washington, great players coach, rated right. Overrated because I thought they won in spite of him. He was a horrible in-game manager. In a certain point, CJ, you got to manage the game. And the worst thing I could hear listening to Eric Nadell and whatever broadcast was, and Ron Washington is looking to wake on the dugout. It looks like he's going to manage now. Thankfully, in the American League, he didn't have to manage until like the eighth inning or seventh. But yeah, no, Ron Washington, overrated in my opinion. And again, great players coach. They all loved him. But at a certain point, you got to freaking manage. That's why Bochy's so good. He knows how to manage. National League, you grow up on that. You know how to manage. You know how to run a game. American League, up until well, now it doesn't really matter. But anyhow, you don't know how to manage a game. 100%. One more minute, two more minutes. We're in green, white, checker territory. All right, you guys are the best. We're going to archive this, theraiderland.com. Check it out on the website tomorrow morning. What we want to know, the most Texan thing you have done this week. So jump in on that. Get in, go, and get your comments flowing, and it'll be awesome. We'll get your predictions for tomorrow. I'll have my predictions tomorrow night on the daily broadcast. About this time tomorrow, we'll see what happens. The Raiderland hot links, I hope you guys are enjoying those. I love putting them together every day, and we try to find some cool stuff for you. All right. That's where I gotta hit this button. That's gonna end that. Then we gotta hit another button. It's gonna end the whole thing. It's really awkward. But for all of our people, sponsors and otherwise, if you guys can share this on Twitter, YouTube, if you hadn't followed us on YouTube, go to Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on YouTube, subscribe. Even if you don't watch it there, I don't care. I mean, you can watch it where you want to, but subscribe to all of our platforms. It grows the product. It helps our sponsors. And that's what allows us to do what we do every day. Otherwise, I got to get a freaking job and I don't want to go to work. All right, we'll see you in the morning. TheRaiderland.com.